1 second, you guys. I'll be right with you. Okay. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is Carmen with Elemental Designs, shop owner of happydaycrafts.com. So we're going to be getting started really soon. I want to say thank you to everybody that has popped in even before I was live. So thank you, Carla, and you as well, Anastasia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, you guys. So we're going to be doing a hack today, okay? And this is something that I've been struggling with for a while when it comes to the Decoart Metallic Lustres, because they do have a tendency to dry. Hello, hello, Ada. I'm almost done with your order. It's getting really, really full. I still have a few more things to add to that. So almost there, almost there. I'm hoping that by tomorrow I'll be able to ship it out to you. I'm prepping. All right, you guys. So back to what I was saying. These waxes do tend to dry out a lot, and I'm always struggling with them. Now, obviously, because I am a mixed media artist, I always find a use for them because, fortunately enough for me, these are water soluble, so I can always apply them as a watercolor, which is what I was doing a lot of the time. Hello, hello, Carla. Which is what I was doing a lot of the time, was actually just, you know, using it like a watercolor, spraying it with water, so on and so forth. But I needed something that will last a little bit longer, for it to last, you know, moist a little bit longer, because I don't always want to use it as a watercolor. I want to use it for what it was intended to be used, which is as a wax that you can kind of rub and buff over, you know, raised areas or flat surfaces, whatever the case may be. And so what I did, this one was really, really like super, super dry. I've had these, most of these going on a little bit over a year. So maybe about almost 2 years I've had these for. And in that time frame, they can dry. Now, sometimes I've heard from other people that they've actually bought them from the stores, and when they went to go use them, they were already dry. I think a lot of it has to do with the packaging, okay? Because this is all open, all these ridges, you know, to screw the top on. That's all air that's gonna go through there. It's gonna basically follow along the little ridges. That's what I'm thinking. It doesn't create, even though it seals tightly, I don't believe that it creates an airtight seal. So that's a big reason why I think they dry. Also, where you place them in your craft room, I believe so, because I think that the Inca Golds are very similar to the Decoart. Now, I personally don't have an Inca Gold to test it on with. I only have these. But I believe that they're basically the same. The ones that I'm not too sure about, I don't even think it really needs it, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever heard anybody saying that these dry. I've actually heard the opposite are the Primo ones, the Finneber waxes, those little tin can ones. These I've asked around, anybody that I see ever using them and stuff like that, and I've asked them, like, do they dry out? And always the answer is no. I've never had that happen. So I don't really think so much you need it for these. But, you know, I'm a person that I need quantity because I use a lot of it. So, you know, this is awesome for like little things here and there because you don't want to waste it, you know. But when you have a bigger container, you don't care so much, so you apply it kind of everywhere. See, and this kind of comes off. But I think, again, also not only, I think it's the formula as well, because I was reading somewhere that this is made with like beeswax or something like that, or it has beeswax in it. So I think that has a lot to do with the reason why this doesn't dry, even though the lid itself is maybe not as secure as you would think it should be, you know, for a wax. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. I'm back. This is... Okay, Anastasia, I don't know if that's somebody else's design, but you're gonna have to either send me a link or something, or send me a picture through email and let me see what it is, because I'm not gonna recreate somebody else's design. Like, it will be something that you tell me, I need a house this size, I would like for it to have X amount of windows, the door in the right, the left, the center. Like, you need to tell me what it is that you're looking for, And then I'll make something for what you need, if that works with you. All right, you guys. So as you guys saw, I put a little piece of just saran wrap in there, just in case any air does get back in there, because I'm pretty sure the air's gonna get back in there. But this has already, I think, like 2 weeks that I did this, and it's still moist, so that's a good thing. I think I have here one that's dried out. I have a few of them that are actually okay, like this one. You can tell when your wax is dry because when you rub it, the color doesn't come off. Maybe you get the shimmer, but the color, this is like a rock right now. This red one had less than this, and it was drier than that. I mean, it was stuck to the jar. I had to like break it apart to get it to moisten up, but you can see, hopefully you can see how moist, hopefully it'll come into the frame. You know, there's a lag between what I'm showing you and what you guys see and what I see back. But you can see the shine and everything, you can see it. You can't really see no shine or anything like that on this one. So I'm gonna put this one to the side because that's definitely one of the ones that I'm gonna be working on today. So let me just kind of go through this and at the same time show you guys what they're supposed to look like. You see, when they have that shine, that means that they're still kind of juicy. Yes, it's basically like cemented onto the jar once they start to dry out. But you can still see, and this was getting dry already. I can already feel it, but I can still pull color off of it. So to something like that, you don't necessarily need to do it because you can still pull the color off just by rubbing your finger on it. What you want to do it to are the ones that are super, super, super dry. Like this one's already getting there. You can already see it's already starting to kind of get really hard and caked up. So I'm probably going to do it to this one as well. And I'm not going to go through all of these with you guys today. I'm mainly going to show you. See, I had about this much. This is hard like a rock. I can literally take the whole thing out and pick it up with my hands. This is hard like a rock. So we're going to do that one. This is another one. Like the whole thing just comes out. You hear it? So I was super excited when this worked because I'm like, yes, 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 yes. And I believe that these are water-based only because it doesn't necessarily say what they're made out of on the jar, but I believe that this is water-based only because they react to water. I think that they only become permanent once you like completely set it and dry it, and even then I would still like apply some kind of sealer over it just to make sure that it's there, because like I did my bathroom vanity like 2 years ago. I did like the whole bathroom vanity, and I put like the metallic lustres all over the finishes and like on the knobs and stuff like that. And it did last for a while, but I did start to notice that, you know, obviously from opening and closing with time, it started to fade out. So it's not even 100% permanent if the area is going to be something that you're going to be constantly touching. So for decorative purposes, fine. Like if you want to, you know, wax up like some kind of decor that you're not necessarily going to be putting your fingers on every day, then yeah, you'll have that forever. But if you're going to put it like on a knob or something like that you're going to constantly be opening and closing, like, yeah, that'll wear out real quick in a hurry. I know. So we have quite a few here, so I think that's more than enough. And obviously I'm gonna keep doing this because I have to reconstitute all of them, but I'm not gonna drive you guys too nuts with doing all of these here. And so let me show you guys what it is. Oh my goodness. So we're gonna go ahead and open this. I'm gonna try to break it up a little bit already. So I'm gonna basically try to like break this up. That's not the first thing that you're gonna want to do is break up your product. Let me just grab myself some tools that I'm gonna need. And anything that you use to break up your product, you don't have to necessarily use the stuff that I'm using. Anything that you have to break it up is fine. And I need some kind of a scraping tool. So I've known so many people that throw these out. Like they throw them out. Don't throw them out. Especially the Decoart brand. I don't know about another brand, but I know that the Decoart brand, you can still use it. You can use it as a watercolor, kind of like a twinkling H2O. There are still many applications that you can work with this. So don't throw them out. And I'm about to show you now how to go about reconstituting them. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna smash this down off of camera. I don't want to do it on my glass mat. So I'm just gonna press on this down and just kind of get this. This one is really, really, really hard. So you know what I'm gonna do? Since this is too hard to work with right now, what I'm gonna do actually, I'm gonna start off the process by spritzing this. And this is just to start it off. And the magic is not the water. I'm gonna show you what the magic is in a little bit. This is another product that I add to this to kind of get it where I need it to be. Hello, hello, memory. How you doing, love? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of spritz this real quick, and I'm gonna put this to the side just for a little bit while it kind of goes penetrating the water, just to kind of help me break it up. That's not necessarily gonna do the trick, but it'll at least start kind of accepting. I think this one will be a little bit easier for me to show you guys now. So I'm gonna spritz it a little bit with some water, and I'm gonna try to kind of break this down. Hopefully you guys are able to see well. Just gonna start to kind of break this down. And anything that you have that you can smash it up with, you can do that. If you want to put them like in a little Ziploc bag and smash them up, then that'll work as well. And then just put the little leftovers in here. So you can already see, just by me crushing it up, I have so much product already. It doesn't seem like the little, you know, the little thing that I had left. It seems like so much product. Make sure that you grab everything off the edges. So clean your edges off. That's all good product that can be reconstituted and you know, remixed into what we're about to do. All right, you guys. So you want to know what the secret is? Pelón. What happened with Pelón? Oh, el pilón. Yes, el pilón. To smash the garlic with. Yeah, no, this is for clay though. The magic, you guys, the magic that I discovered, and I'm gonna tell you how I got to this place before I show you what I have in my hand. Basically, obviously, in the process of trying to figure this out, I started looking at how dry it was, and I was like, dang, this thing looks like clay almost. So obviously my brain went into MacGyver mode completely like this. And I started looking through my stuff because I've been working with a lot of clay lately. And I found that I actually have Sculpey clay softener. And believe it or not, you guys, this is what I'm using to keep my waxes soft. So you gotta do is just add a few. You guys can see it's still very separated. I'm gonna add a few drops to this. And one bottle can go a long way. I don't necessarily know how many drops I added, but I did add quite a few drops. And then we're just gonna go back into this and kind of work this into the wax. Because it does kind of look like clay, doesn't it? Yes, 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 yes. See, you guys, it's all about trying to use up those products in more ways than they were intended, because companies, when they put these products out, they don't put them out with the idea of, oh, they can use this for this, that, and the third. You know, it's one track mind that this is for clay. So you have to kind of come out of your own little box and do some experimentation yourself and see kind of what works. Now, if somebody has an Inca Gold, I would love to see if this works on that as well. Because I kind of stopped, like, I didn't buy any of the other jars of any other brands for that same reason. I'm like, if this is going to dry, the other ones are going to dry as well. Yes, you see, a lot of people already have this in their stash. And you just kind of have to work it in there. You might need to add a little bit more. Add a little bit of water as needed. A fine little spritz here and there. just to get everything kind of, you know, easy, pliable. And that's really what the water is for at this stage, is just basically to help you kind of make it more soft. As the clay softener is kind of working in there, you kind of, you know, have all of that. So I'm gonna add a few more drops, 3 more drops, 3 or 4 more drops. And again, and I can already feel that I can actually, you know, very smoothly, like, just smush it down. And again, you want to break up all those big chunks, because those big chunks don't have any of the sculpting product in it. So you have to kind of smash that in there. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna grab one of my little baggies here. Just gonna go in and smash this down. And then I'm gonna just use my hands and work it up a little bit more. And just kind of squeezing that product down all the time, squeezing that product down, mushing that product up. You could already see, and you can see how creamy it is. What once didn't give me color, now gives me color. Yes, and I think it's an awesome thing to have, because clay is also, sometimes some brands of clay are really, really hard. So if you like to play with clay, then you're definitely gonna need something like that. But basically, I smush it down and then I pick it up, and then we're basically there. Just making sure that everything is nice and soft. Again, making sure that product is nicely broken down. You definitely want to make sure that product is broken down, because any clumps that you have, remember, this is completely dry and impenetrable at this point in time because of the acrylic that is in there. Remember, acrylic is almost like a plastic when it dries. So it becomes kind of hard to get the products into the wax if you don't kind of break it up. So you definitely want to make sure that you chunk this baby up as much as you can. And if you need to add more, add more. I don't think I need much more than that. But you see, I just popped this tiny little hole in it so that I didn't over pour the product. And then you could just kind of compress it to how you want it to be. And basically, that is it. So when you're going to go use it, then all you have to do is basically apply on your surface. I'm looking for something to use. Need a piece of paper or something. There we go. You want to make sure that you get all that product. Like, I'm a messy crafter, you guys. So, yeah, I make a mess. I don't know, but you can try it. Honestly, I would not discourage you from trying it. You should try it. Take a little bit of the product. Like, if it's hard, take a little piece of it. That way you don't end up, you know, doing it to the whole thing in case you're not too sure. Take a little piece of it, smash it up if it's hard like how this is, and then all you have to do basically is, you know, these steps and see what happens. If it works for that little piece, and it'll work for the whole thing. And then you could just, you know, go ahead and do the process for the remainder, and you'll have it good to go. So now I can very easily see if there's movement. In the whole thing. So now you can very easily apply it. Let's go ahead and try another one. This is the one that I had previously put there. I already spritzed it up with some water. Let's see if I can get it to kind of smash up. And actually, I think what I'm going to do is actually put it into this little baggie here. Make sure I get all that product out of there. See, it just peels right off. Make sure you grab as much as you can from the sides. Get all of that product out of there, you know, off of the edges. Oh, you are very, very welcome. Because I know a lot of us kind of suffer through the same problem. And these waxes are really, really highly pigmented. I honestly love them. I've been using them for a long time, and that's why even after the fact I still kept them and still try to work with them as best as I could. Put it in another baggie. Venus, it's me. Nobody's knocking. Somebody's knocking. Venus thinks that the school that's behind us is hers. So anytime she sees anybody walking back, then she starts barking too. She thinks that that's all part of our yard. I'm like, girl, we don't even have a yard. What are you barking at? Venus, stop. I'm gonna go ahead and smash this up as best as I can. Some of this is really, really, really hard. But I think I got a lot of it broken down. So I'm gonna empty this baggie out. And this is the rose gold, I believe, right? This is the rose gold. Yeah, rose gold. So you get all that out of the baggie. Later on, what I'll do with these after I use them, I'm gonna spritz them down and basically stick them on paper and use up all that leftover magic that is in there. And again, we're gonna spritz it up a little bit more and add a few drops of the Sculpey, the clay softener. And I don't know about other brands, so I don't know, you know, this is what I had. I'm not sure, I don't know, I can't attest to how other brands of clay softener will react to this, but you can always try it. So I'm gonna add a generous amount on this one because this has a lot of product and it's really, really hard and clumpy. You're gonna wanna break that up again as much as you can. Until you have the smallest amount of pieces in there and you can kind of work through that. So you might just want to and this is kind of like why I did this live so that you guys can see the true nature of what the process is like. It's not gonna be like 1, 2, 3, or let me just put this in and it'll wake up like magic tomorrow. No, but you can do this and you'll be able to use them right away without having to set them to the side for the, you know, for the water to kind of seep through everything. This will give you faster results, but it's a longer process to get it done. But if you don't want to have to do it all the time, then it's recommended that you take your time and you do this, you know, the right way. So you don't have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And in the future, when it dries out again, because I'm pretty sure it'll dry out again, then you know how to more or less reconstitute it. And that way you end up using all of your products as opposed to getting discouraged and tossing it out the garbage. And basically throwing some of your own money away, right? Hello, Tina. Well, so far I have about 2 weeks with this one and it's still going strong. I did make sure that I put a piece of plastic on the inside. So I got a piece of saran wrap in there, but she's like really, really soft. Like, I mean, you can see how creamy that is. I can just scoop it out like ice cream right out the jar. And that was basically about, like I said, about roughly around 2 weeks ago. And it was done the same way that I'm showing you how I'm doing it now. Thank you, Ada. Especially now, you know, with me having a store and all of that good stuff and wanting to work on chipboards like crazy, I need my waxes, you guys. I need my waxes to work as they are intended, as they are supposed to. and this does work. The hardest thing is, you guys, breaking up, and you can already see like it's getting easier for me to break it just because the clay softener is working its magic in there. And you just have to add whatever the amount it is that you need for what you're doing, but you can already see, like, you know, it's becoming really creamy already. So you're gonna need two things besides your tools, you know, things to smash and scrape with. You're gonna need Sculpey, clay softener, and you're gonna need some water, because you are gonna want to, you don't have to waste all of this, you are gonna want to reconstitute it with some water and also add that into it, so that kind of helps you and you don't have to over waste this product here. So let me go ahead and put this over it again. I'm gonna put it over like so, and I'm gonna smash that in there. You can already see it's already starting to get really creamy. Make sure you get all that product off of there. I like using the bag to kind of mush it down because then I don't have to get my hands dirty. And I could also leave the same plastic right in there once I'm done. If I use gloves, and I'm going to be contaminating all the colors, and I don't want to use 1,500 pairs of gloves to do this. So a little plastic wrap or a little plastic baggie will be more than enough for what you need. Hello, Carrie. For what you need. But you already can see the difference from how it was to how it's getting, you guys. You can already see it. I can basically start smushing it in together. And you see how much more product now I have than what I had when it was dry. Like, so much more product is in there. And again, you just want to get those big, big clumps out of there. Put some of those right here and kind of cut them up a little bit. You can also do this. This seems to be a lot easier than smashing it down. Put that all back in there. And again, any big chunks that you find that you tried and it doesn't, and just kind of break them up. Be careful, obviously, if you're using a knife like I am. You just want to get them small enough that when you add the Sculpey thing to it, that it'll be absorbed by the product. That is the most important thing, is for it to be absorbed by the product. So we're going to go ahead and add a few more drops. And again, this is as you need, but as you guys see, I've used already a lot and I still have quite a lot left. Make sure that your hole is teeny tiny, because you don't need an abundance of product, and you don't want to add too much product to the wax, because I don't know if that'll change the properties. So just make sure that you add just enough, and you'll know what that just enough is. And again, now that it's all broken up, add a little bit of water here and there, and just mix that all together. That kind of helps the Sculpey liquid to kind of penetrate the whole thing. And I would say that this is about done. Anytime that I see any of these little big chunks, I'm going to just take them out and break them up. And add that all right back in there. So let's put that back down and see how it looks like now. I'm going to smush this up again with my little clay roller. And trust and believe that you'll feel the difference, and you'll see the difference. As I showed you guys earlier, the dried ones, like this, you can't get nothing out of it. I mean, this is hard like a rock. This one was just like that. As you guys saw, I pulled the whole thing out. And now this is ready. I'll just leave that there because I'm going to put that right back in there. This is now ready. So I can basically use that. That's ready to go. And as long as I keep that sealed up properly, then it should last me a while. Leave the plastic in there. That kind of helps maintain some of the moisture of it. And then you can just basically squeeze it all to one side or however you want to use it. But this is basically ready. And it does look a little bit clumpy because it still has some chunks in there. I will be working this out a little bit more. But to at least get to show you guys that it does do the job, once you've done that, then you can actually use it. And I'm going to show you guys with that other one, the one that's really, really, let me put this back in there. I'm going to keep working this out because I still have a lot more of these to go, but I'm going to allow this to kind of sit for a little bit and see if keeping it there like that will help it to smooth out some of the other clumps that are in there. Let me just clean my hands. Thank you, I appreciate that. Yes, definitely. Check that out because I'm gonna be honest with you, that's a money saver right there. That's a money saver right there. And it's a pretty big jar. It's a pretty big jar, you guys. So you get a lot of product, and if you can reconstitute it and bring it back, then you'll get even more use out of it. Okay. So we have this one. This one is ridiculously dry. So I'm gonna try to, like, it's even hard to pull out. And I'm gonna try. And this is what it was when I was trying to reconstitute them, and I'm here adding water, adding sprays, you know, doing all of that stuff. I'm like, dang, you know, this is not gonna last me very long. I'm gonna have to keep doing this like all the time. Like, what else do I have? And I'm looking at this thing, and it looks so much like clay to me, like dry clay. I'm like, if it'll soften clay, maybe it'll soften this, because this gotta have some kind of, you know, clay properties to it to a certain extent. It's gotta have some kind of minerals in there to turn it into like this waxy consistency. So I thought maybe that would be a good way to use that. Just getting all the product off of the side, because a lot of product gets stuck around the sides and we don't really use that as much. Go ahead and do this. And just keep doing that basically. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy. And I think I'm gonna do what I was doing earlier, which is kind of like with the blade. I think that might even be a little bit faster than how I was doing it before. So I'm just gonna do that. And I think I'll get finer granules that way. So if you have something like this, this might be very useful for you for cutting this up. I think this one's gonna come out really nice because I got those granules down real small. And that's kind of what you want. You want it to be like super small. You get all of that product. Don't leave none of that product behind. The struggle is real, you guys, but the rewards are so worth it. Okay, just put that there. And do the same thing again. Just kind of break that down. I should have started off like this instead of breaking my head there with the mallet. This is going to be my new way to do it. So, a hack to a hack. Hello, June. I just missed mine with water in it. Yes, you do. You do have to mist it every time. Trust me, I've been working with Decoart for years now. And I've got to sample basically all of their products. These are by far my favorites, but they also give me the biggest headache because they do dry. They do dry, especially in the wintertime when you got the heat up. Like, oh my God, you can't really find a wall to put this on because heat travels everywhere. So they end up getting really, really dry really fast. And then you have to always mist them and remist them and remist them and remist them. And like I said, I tend to use them for watercolor when they're that dry. But now that I have this, I don't have to necessarily resort to that. I can actually divide my jars in half and take half and put that for watercoloring and then leave the other half so I can use it as it is. So I'm just going to grind this up as much as I can. Little bits of chipboard filings all over the place. So that looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and put this in the baggie. You don't have to put it in a bag if you don't want. You can put it in a bowl, whatever you want to. However you want to work it is fine. And to this, oh, I still have a few more big chunks. Let me just take those out so I can smash them up and put them back in. Taking out anything that's big in here that I can basically work a little bit more, because it'll make my life easier if I can do this ahead of time. Okay. That's pretty good for the big bits. But you kind of want something like that, where it's not, the particles themselves, you know, it's kind of broken down. It's not too bad. So I'm going to add some water to that bag. Add a little bit of water to that. And to that, I'm going to go ahead and add a few drops. 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 drops to that. We're going to work that in there. We're just going to massage that in there. And you'll be able to tell when you need more. If it doesn't clump together, then you need more. Okay? If it's still fine powder, you're going to need more. So a little bit of water, a few more drops. 4, 5, 6, and 7. You might need, you know, you basically will add the drops as you need. It's already starting to clump together, and that's basically what we want. Massage that. Massage the baby. Massage the baby, you guys. And you just keep adding as you need. Look at that beautiful gold bag now. Okay. And this is pretty good. It's now starting to clump together, which is what we want. We want to be able to mold it. If it's moldable, then you're basically good to go. So if you can kind of create, you know, kind of put it all together and push them all together, and kind of like how clay does, kind of hold itself together, then you're basically just about there. Let me go ahead and add these few little bits. Waste not. Waste not, my friends. Waste not. Just gonna go ahead and this makes for a fast job by using you can use a knife, or if you have a clay, one of these clay knife things. I don't even know what this is called. I got this in a haul. Things happen for a reason, you guys. Things happen for a reason. Because look at that. Now I get to use this for this, not just for clay. Okay, so put that in there. Let's add this back in here. I'm about to get it out of the bag so I can put it back into its jar. If you have better jars than those, then it might behoove you to maybe switch the jars. If you have something that is more airtight after you've reconstituted them and you don't want to keep doing this, it might behoove you to get a jar that's airtight, really, really airtight. Okay, let's see. The piece de la resistance. Viva la crafts. There we go. Let's push that in. And you have a whole bunch of product now. On the bag as well. Like I said, you can make a lot of background a lot of background pages with this. Just spritz up the bag if you want to use it for that. If you want to use up all this color, you totally can. You can just scrape up the color as well, as I'm doing here. Scraping up a lot of that color off. Okay. And then you just basically want to smush it down. It's a little bit more water. A little bit more of this. Just a few more drops. And you will be good to go. Now let me just go ahead and squish that down. You can work it out a little bit more with your fingers. Once you have it covered up by the bag. But this one is back to life, you guys. You see the shimmer now? And it's a little bit of a messy process. Or at least I'm a mess, you know, I'm messy as I'm doing it. And I'm going to squeeze them all together because I want whatever moisture is in there to travel, you know, throughout the whole thing. So I'm going to squeeze it in there like so. And we already have it. If I need to rub it out, I can so do that. And this is a color that I showed you guys didn't give me any pigmentation at all. It was completely dry. I couldn't use it for anything besides adding water to it and maybe applying it like a watercolor. But now I can add it. I can play with it now. Let me just get all this beautiful gold color off of my desk. I'm gonna add that baby right back in there. So what do you guys think? Pretty easy, right? Pretty simple. Spritz it up. Add a few more drops, and then I'm going to cover this fold up. Just so that it can keep penetrating in there. And I'm going to cover it up. Put a little baggie in there. And this was burnished brass. Gonna look like a roller by the time I'm done with all this metallic paint all over my hands. And that's it. And there you have it. I mean, shoot. That's awesomeness, if you ask me. See this one right here? That's why I was so super stoked. I was like, oh my goodness, yes. And obviously, you know, unless you do a really fine job, like you know how if you can grade it, like if you get This one is messed up because I use this for my for my reusable molding material. So it looks like crap on the inside. But if you have something like this, you can literally go in here and scrape off, use the chalk, scrape off all that stuff, turn it into a fine powder. I don't know if this will do it for me. I don't think. I think it's too well, maybe I can. This is just my reusable molding material. I use this to filter it out, to grab some of the particles that get stuck into it from like the resin and stuff like that. So when it's in its melted form, I sift through it by pouring it through here. So it's got all of this rubbery mold material on it. I'm trying to see if I can create an area that I can use to scrape so I can show you guys. Let's see. Let me just rub this back a little bit. Okay, I think I created a nice little space for myself right there. So we're gonna do that and try it out and see if that'll actually work. So I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna try to get this material out of here as best as I can. I might not need it for this one. This one still, it has a little bit of moisture still in it, so I might not necessarily need it for this one, but maybe for another one. The smaller you can get the chunks, the better your process is going to be and the more consistency you're going to have with your wax once it's completely constituted. So you have to make sure that you get it as fine as you possibly can. Okay. So I don't know if this is going to work, so let me try it real quick and see. No, I don't think it's, I mean, it does work, but I don't know. You need to be able to get that material off of there. No, I don't think it's working the way I need it to work. I think I'm wasting more than I'm saving because it kind of gets stuck there. So let's go ahead and do it the way we were doing with the little knife. Get the rest of this material off, and this is gonna be the last one that I'm gonna do with you guys. And then we're gonna call it a day. I kept it live as opposed to doing, a quick little video because I needed you guys to see the full extent of the process that you have to go through, to get this thing to work. If your clay is, if your wax is too dry, then spritz it with some water first so you can kind of at least move it around as far as being able to lift it off the jar, even if it's still like a solid block, and then, do what I did and kind of chunk it down. And because look at all that product. You're gonna really throw out all that product? Really? You cannot. You cannot throw out all that product, you guys. So I know a lot of people right now that were here, like looking through their stash and getting their Sculpey or their clay softeners and trying it out. And I would really love for you guys to come back to this video and let me know if it worked out for you. That would be awesome, awesome, awesome. The things that we come up with when we're in a binder, when we're needing something, it's just crazy. Because if you would have asked me last year, like, I would have just told you, just add water. That's what I do. Just add water. But the water doesn't necessarily make it creamy again. And then you have pools of water, because I've had that happen where I've sprayed them down and then I'll have pools of water in the wax. And it doesn't really help for what you needed to do. So I'm just trying to chunk this down as much as I can. And this is like my junk to treasures Wednesday, because this was 2 seconds away from being junk. and now it's a treasure all over again. You can see so much shine. Like, this is like such an amazing product, so versatile. And now that I know how to reconstitute it, man, that's basically what I'm gonna be doing in between my whole entire day today. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that back in there. Spritz, spritz, spritz with some water. And depending on how much product, depends on how much water, how much material, you know, how much of the product you have to use. So I'm just gonna get it all over the place. I have a lot of product here, so I know I'm gonna need quite a lot of drops. Squeezing that down, and it's already very pliable already. I didn't even have to really work this one too much, which is awesome. Some of them you're gonna have to work a little bit longer than others. So if you can catch them right before they completely dry, then your job will be a little bit easier because it'll be more manageable as far as breaking it down and all of that good stuff. I'm gonna get a baggie. I'm gonna need it. And then I'm just gonna push down. By pushing down with your fingers, you kind of push all that liquid that we've added, the drops in the water. You kind of push that all in. You kind of force it to drink it up, basically. And you get to smudge down some of those really hard granules. And this one's done. This one was done super easy. So you're not going to have the same level of difficulty with all of them. Some of them are going to be done a lot faster than others. Let me clean my hands. And I'm going to let my hands dry just a little bit. Like, I'm definitely going to have to get me another bottle of this. I'm going to see if they even have a bigger one than that little one. All right, so we're back at it. You can already see, like, you see all that texture that is in there? And just from, like, rubbing it out, it becomes all smooth. And you can basically use it now. It went from unusable unless you sprayed it with water to now being usable. And to seal it off, I'm gonna just spritz a little bit, add a few more drops of this, just so that it can really permeate all of it. And if I needed to use it right now, I could have used it right now. But since I'm not gonna be doing that right away, I might as well just let it kind of absorb all that in there. I'm gonna move it all like I did before and kind of put it all to the side. So that's all kind of together. And I mean, it's super creamy now, honestly. It looks a little crazy, but it's super, super creamy. And at the end of the day, you don't need it to look a certain kind of way. You just need it to do what it needs to do. So, just move that product over and seal it up. Put a little baggie in there. And that's it, you guys. That's it for my little makeshift hack, if you will. I believe it to be a hack because honestly, there was no way. Sorry, I'm sorry I missed it. What did you put in the water? The water is just regular water. What I did do is that I basically spritzed the wax to kind of be able to break it down. And then I add clay softener. I add a few drops here and there. You'll basically get to see what you need, you know, how much you need of it as you go working it. Um, Again, my recommendation to you guys is to try to break up that dry wax as much as you can. I use this blade here, but you guys can use like a little knife or something like that and just kind of, you know, fine chop it as much as you possibly can. Or if you have a way of grinding it up, then grind it up and try to get the pieces as small as you can, because that'll give you a faster result, faster process. The bigger they are, the more you're going to struggle with it because it needs to penetrate all those big chunks. So you have to basically break them up either way. So cut them up really, really small as you can. You can either put it in a Ziploc bag, you can do it right from the jar, you can put it in a little bowl and work it that way, then put it back in there. However you guys can do that. If you have one of those grinding things that you can put, like, you know, how you use to like make pigments and stuff like that, that you can grind up like the minerals and then you kind of scoop it out. If you have something like that, then put that, you know, grind it up and then constitute it with a little bit of water and add the clay softener as you need, okay? And then before you finish, just make sure that you spritz it a little bit, add a few more drops, and then kind of seal it off so that when you go use it, it stays the same. And honestly, I haven't, it's been a couple weeks now, and it's still really nice and pliable, and I can still use it. And those little granules went from being unusable to being usable. I have something that I can actually play with now, that is creamy and that I can apply. And I can still use it, you know, depending on how small you get the granules. That's a big thing. Depending on how small you get the granules, then it depends on how smooth your cream or your you know, your paste is going to be at the end of your wax. So take your time and, you know, really, really get those granules as small as you can, and then reconstitute it with a little bit of water. Don't add too much water, you guys. Spritz as you need. Start off small, a few spritzes, break it up, a few more spritzes, continue breaking it down, a few more spritzes, continue breaking it down until you have everything kind of broken down, and then go adding your drops, you know, and make sure that these drops kind of flow through everything. The water actually helps this to kind of move around in there, so that's another good reason why I add the water. But realistically speaking, you might not even need so much of the water if you just add the clay coat. You just have to, you know, add this and then just leave it alone for a while and let that really kind of penetrate and work into it. It's kind of like when you add it to clay, it's about the same thing, okay? So if you guys came in at the end of this video, then make sure that you go to the beginning of this video where I kind of break down the whole thing and I show you, you know, the different, how the waxes were looking prior to, and basically I was able to reconstitute them. I wasn't able to get any color off of them by rubbing my finger on it, which is basically what these are supposed to be used like. You're supposed to be able to rub your finger on it and then rub it on whatever surface you're going to work on. But as you guys can see, the ones that I couldn't do before, after I reconstituted them, I was able to basically pull the color back out with my finger without having to use you know, anything wet or anything like that, because it's already moist from all the things that I did to it. Okay, so thank you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed this hack and that you found it helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're interested in chipboard designs and stencils and things of that nature that are not necessarily in the mainstream market, then definitely make sure that you check out happydaycrafts.com. And if you have any custom orders, you can hit me up as well. So you guys, thank you so much. Have an awesome rest of your day. I will probably catch you, maybe not tomorrow, maybe like on Friday or on Saturday, and I'll do a live project, and I'll use the waxes that I dried up, not that I dried, that I fixed today, and you guys will get to see a few days later necessarily how it looks and everything like that and how it works, okay? So have an awesome one. Stay safe, be humble, and as always, all we need is love. Please make sure you give it to each other. I'll catch you later. Bye.